feel like if you chose more of a quote unquote like Americanized sport, you could have had a better chance of actually going pro?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the thing is, I loved soccer and I loved running. Even in school, we used to go kick footballs afterward. I could kick football crazy far, much further than even the guy on the team, right? And then this guy gets drafted into the NFL.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, damn, dude. I should have fucking kicked a fucking football. What was I doing?
What's going on, everybody? Today we have Charlie White in conversations with DJ. He is a former Team USA beach handball professional player. That's sick, by the way. That's awesome. So we'll talk a little bit about handball, a little bit about pickleball, all that good stuff. So kind of like, I always start with the same question a little bit, but usually I say pickleball, but for you is how do you get into handball? And why specifically beach handball?
Well, beach handball was an emerging sport in the United States. And so for me, it was actually a second chance to be like an athlete again. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's very similar to guys that played tennis and then they saw like pickleball and they're like, you know what, I'm not done. I'm not done competing yet. And so I actually got involved in the handball team later in life. So it was soccer for most of my life. And I played a lot of sports growing up. And I had a friend that brought me out to a club tournament in Southern California, beach handball. And they had a couple guys on the USA national team, a guy from the New Zealand national team and Australian national team. And dude, I fell in love with the sport like right away. And I felt like a lot of the skill set that I had, I knew almost like right away, I felt like I could be really good at it. Yeah. And so I got involved with it. And a few months in, I got invited to a training camp with Qatar, who was number 3 in the world at the time. And I went to this camp. And at the time, I didn't have a ton of expectations. I felt like, I didn't know what my chances were to like really compete at an elite level. But after this camp with Qatar, I felt like, you know what? Not only could I play the sport, I felt like I could excel. And and growing up playing soccer, like I think in the United States at least, every kid's dream is to play for the national team. Mm-hmm. To wear the USA jersey, hear the national anthem, hear your name, like travel the world, those types of things. And I saw this sport and it was kind of new. It had only been around I think 2 years in the United States. They had kind of had a Cinderella story. They won the Pan America Championships and their very first big tournament ever. Yeah, so they won the gold medal and they won in beach handball. It goes to shootouts a lot, and they had these like all these shootouts. So the way it was told to me is like they weren't necessarily the best team there, but they were able to go to these shootouts and they won. And I my friend had been on that team, and you see the confetti and the trophy, and then they go to the World Championships out in Hungary, and I just felt like, you know what, dude, I just want to. I felt like at that moment after that camp, I went all in on this sport, and it ended up being like a dream come true. Like it was crazy. It changed my life. Dude,
that's sick. So you said your past sport was soccer, and then did you go to college for soccer, and then you had to make it pro essentially?
Yeah, I in high school I was like like a player of the year. We won some city championships, like we set some big things, and then I always wanted to play Division I soccer. That was my goal, and I did play Division I soccer with my twin brother. Oh, sick. But I did have a pretty big ego at the time, and my how good I thought I was versus like how well I was getting like recruited out of when I was finishing school, and I'd had some injuries my junior and senior year. They just, I just felt like at that time in the United States, like MLS was just getting started. There wasn't a lot of money. And then in the summers, like we would coach with a lot of pro players and play with pro players. And I could kind of see like where it was going to be for me. It was going to be like a real grind. And I just was like, dude, I don't want to, like I love soccer, but I'm also a little burnt out. And I don't want to do this for like nothing, basically. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Like nothing. And so, I basically started like kind of just working, and so later in life, that's when the beach handball thing came up. Yeah. And I feel like I gave up on soccer too early almost, or just gave up on it. And I feel like I was really, really good at it, but I also felt like, I wasn't getting the opportunities that I that I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I was like frustrated, and I had been frustrated even in college where I felt like we were in the best conference in the nation at the time, but you know, we're like a 500 team, meaning like we win just as many games as we lose.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I want us to be like national champions,
Right.
you know, and we weren't, and I was frustrated by the injuries, and you know, I just felt like I just gave up. I just was like, I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
I feel like soccer too. It's like it's so hard to go pro
It's so
in
hard.
soccer because
Yeah.
first of all, like because you grew up here in the U.S. and it's like I grew up in Spain. Like everybody and their mom plays soccer.
Everyone.
So it's like you're not only competing against like you know a country that like the U.S. is really famous for like football and all this, but really only us play football here.
Yeah.
Everyone plays soccer
Yeah.
in the whole world. So you're competing against people that you can't even imagine, right? So that's the one thing too. And then just even knowing that soccer itself is way bigger in Europe, and then you're just kind of in the U.S. doing what you can when like
Yeah.
these people might be in a total different level anyway. It's just
Dude,
it's
they're
tough.
way
It's
better. Yeah, I remember I went out. I mean, dude, I was frustrated. This kind of thing, like, it builds up over time. It's not like an overnight thing. I remember I was gonna go play at this one school, and then the last minute, the coach used like this, like, he recruited some international guy or something. And I was
Yeah.
furious, dude. and I remember I ended up going to Vanderbilt. I remember seeing that school on the schedule, and I was just like waiting for the day
Yeah.
that we played that team. You know,
so competitive.
Oh, bro,
I love that.
I was, yeah, I just couldn't wait, and I and I remember like I scored a goal, had 2 assists, and I went to the coach afterward, and I was like, do you remember me? You know what I mean?
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Did he remember you?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah, dude. I was, I took it personally. You know,
Yeah.
I took it super personally that
Yeah.
he would take this like other guy over me. You know,
Dude, that's so cool. That's actually really, that's some like Michael Jordan shit. Do you feel like if you chose more of a quote unquote like Americanized sport, you could have had a better chance of actually going pro
Oh,
than
100%.
soccer?
100%. I mean, the thing is, I loved soccer and I loved running and I loved playing with my brother. But I remember even in school, like we used to go kick footballs afterward, you know, just kicking.
Yeah.
And I remember I could kick football crazy far, much further than even the guy on the team, right?
Yeah.
And he was the captain of the team. And then this guy gets drafted into the NFL.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, damn, dude. I should have fucking kicked some fucking football. What was I doing?
could be a kicker for fucking
I
anybody.
thought being a kicker was lame because you don't do much. You know, you just sit on the sideline most of the
Yeah.
time, and you don't do much. And in hindsight, I was like, damn, dude, I blew it. I totally blew it. I just wanted to play the sport that I had fun doing.
Yeah.
But if I'd actually wanted to make like a career out of it, I should have gone back and played like, you know, baseball or football or something like that. Just kicked football. I mean, kicking, you can do it forever. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing about that though is you miss like, you know, one field goal and you're out of the league or something.
Yeah, basically,
so
yeah.
Just, you never know.
So was the love for beach handball like higher or more than ever was for soccer, or was it just at a point where you're burned out with soccer, so I just like handball now?
I think for me, it's just like the different phases of life, and as you get older, you realize the window of opportunity in your life. It's not going to be there forever. Like you're not going to have this runway forever. And I realized when I had this like second chance, I was like, you know, you may never get another one again. Like this might be it. And I felt like I actually took it super serious, you know. And I also feel like when I got injured in college a couple times, you know, I just started, you know, other things like partying and like girls and stuff started taking priority.
Yeah.
And before it had all been sports. And so I feel like with beach handball, I saw this opportunity and I was like, man, I felt like never in my life had I been so focused and like disciplined and really, you know, just trying to see if I could make it. At the beginning, I was like, if I could just make the team, that would be a dream come true.
Yeah.
You know, if I could just make the roster for any tournament, because there's a new roster every tournament.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like there's a selection process, and I was like, if I could just make that would be a dream come true. And then of course, like you make the roster, but then you're like, well, now I want to start.
Yeah.
You know, now I want us to win a gold medal.
Yeah.
You know, all those types of things.
That's sick. What was the culture like? Or actually, no. Let me ask you this: like, how was the barrier entry of level when you started? Because I'm sure like nowadays it's a lot harder, right? Because more people probably
Yeah.
play. So how was it back when you played?
So I mean, like you said with soccer, there's thousands of kids, like, right?
Yeah.
And then there's thousands of like even college players and even guys that were like highly, they're highly recruited out of college and stuff like that. They wash out after like a year or two. The turnover is like crazy high, and there's just so many people. And what comes with that is like politics of like, they know you? Is this coach? Is this, are you, whatever? And it's very difficult. And I kind of saw this new sport that was just emerging, and in some ways, some of the difficulties of it were an opportunity for me because, like, in order to train, you have to have a beach, and then it's based right here in Los Angeles where I'm living, and so like there may be better players out there, right? But the coach doesn't know who they are. They don't know this. They've never even heard of the sport. I had never even heard of it.
Yeah.
And so like I saw this like window of opportunity where I could I felt like at that point there was zero chance I'm ever going to play for like the USA national team for soccer. Like that ship sailed a long time ago.
Yeah.
But for this, like a new sport with a new team, and it's based right here in LA.
Right place, right time.
Right place, right time. I was just in the right place at the right time, and I was like, I couldn't. It was just it was an amazing opportunity.
Yeah. No, it's sick. Because when the way that I can relate that to pickle was like when I started, like I was literally like the only player my age that was like trying to go pro.
Yeah.
Right. And because Ben Johns and, maybe Cal Yates was a little bit older, whatever, but, they were already pros and whatever. So I was always, for a long time, I was kind of like the quote unquote, maybe the next big thing. Right. And then it was like Dylan, then it was J-Dub. And obviously, we are where we are. But now it's like, holy shit. Like now it's like everyone and their mom is playing. You're competing against like 16, 17, 18-year-olds that all they do is consume pickleball all day long, like 24 hours a day. And I'm like, damn, like this is hard to compete against.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy, right? Because I feel like once you know like a little bit about pickleball or you get to know it, I know people that know you and they're like, oh yeah, Jay, you've been the man for a long time. DJ's been the man for a long time. And then I talk to other people like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go see DJ, and they're like, who's that? And I'm like, what, dude? I was like, because they're new, they just started a couple of months ago, and or they just don't know players. And then I'm like, I was like, hey, last year I got to go see Tyson McGuffin at his pickleball camp. They're like, who's Tyson McGuffin?
Who's McMuffin?
Yeah, who's McMuffin? And I'm like, and so in my mind, it's kind of like there's all these new people like flooding in to the sport, and they have it's crazy to see how it's kind of like this free for all almost of just like new players, and like you guys are doing like the league and all the tournaments, and I see it blowing up in Asia. It's wild. It's way bigger than beach handball already. Yeah, because the beach handball, a lot of them are under the umbrella of indoor handball, which is a big, there's big professional leagues.
I played indoor handball, not pro, but like growing up in Spain, there's a lot of it.
Yeah, people don't understand that either in the United States. Like I used to work at Barcelona. We had an office there with the company I work for, and right around the corner is the Nike building, and it's Messi, who was at Barcelona at the time, and then his big face, and then right next to it is the handball team.
Yeah.
Because as people grow up playing soccer and handball, and people don't understand that, and they think that like American football players could go dominate like handball, and I'm like, it's
not happening.
Dude, I was like, unless you grew up playing handball, you just can't do it. You have to grow up your whole life, and even then, like, it doesn't mean you're going to be great at it. It means like you just know how to play. Yeah. And then there's people that are exceptional, and it's kind of like that with handball too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Actually, so is there any difference between beach handball and regular indoor handball?
Yeah, so it's kind of like what they did with indoor volleyball, where they have less players. Okay. And so with indoor handball, there's more players. Beach handball, it's less players with a modified rule set. So there's less players. You score like it's a smaller court, more goals, and it's like non-contact. And you get 2 points for spectacular goals. So I don't know if you've ever seen videos or anything. There's a lot of like
spectacular. Yeah. Who decides that?
The ref. So they basically have a formula. So if it's an alley-oop, or a 360, you basically get 2 points. And so at the elite level, like the international level, you go for 2 points every shot. So it's either the specialist, who's the goalie, who comes out. So it's like 4 on offense, 3 on defense, plus the goalie. So you're always up 1 player on offense. Yeah. Right. But your goal is wide open. And so it's running subs like hockey. And so when I started playing this game, I'm like, dude, you score tons of goals. It's just like scoring goals, scoring goals, scoring goals.
So interesting.
And I love that part of it. I was like, oh man, I love scoring goals.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
literally.
And
Yeah.
also put it in slow motion, put it on the big screen,
Yeah.
and show the slow motion goal. So I loved it, and yeah, so it's a little different. So it's also indoor handball's been in the Olympics for a long time. Everybody, like at my gym and stuff, they're like, Charlie. They introduced me as like an Olympian, and I'm always like, I'm not, guys. I'm not an Olympian.
Yeah.
It's not an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
But they're on the speaker and the music's playing, and I feel like I can't even get a word in.
Right.
And so it's and even around the pickleball courts, they're like, oh yeah, Charlie is an Olympian. And
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
Olympian.
The
You
Olympian.
look like one.
The Olympian, and I'm like, I feel like I can't take credit for that because it's not true.
Yeah.
But I've been telling everybody for years that it would be in 2028. This Olympic cycle was going to be in LA, and it doesn't look like it is. It's going to be. It was a exhibition sport in Paris, and so it's there, but it's not. You're not going to win a gold medal for it. You
Interesting.
know? And so we'll see. It might. I mean, it's all money at the end of the day. Like that's why they have flag football in there. The NFL wants it in there. Cricket, there's like the streaming rights to India, and UK, and everything. So.
It's interesting to me. Like, I'm not gonna throw any sports under the bus, but it's interesting to me like how some sports are like in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And then you look at other sports like beach handball or pickleball in this case or whatever, and you're like, how the fuck is that in the Olympics?
Dude, I don't know.
Or not?
Well, the big thing was we had it was the Youth Olympics in Buenos Aires, and it was beach handball. It's kind of like a proving ground for Olympics in some ways, and it was the #1 spectator sport. Like they had like thousands of people outside the stadium trying to get in. Their women's team went to the finals, and their men's team went to the bronze medal match, and they got third place. And their women's team won the gold medal. They had like this girl. Her name's like Giselle Bonamy, something like that. But she like carried the torch. They had her on all the front paper, all the newspapers, I think, and we're like, oh, this is it, dude. And the president of the ILC Olympic organization was like, he was there and he talked to us. He talked to us in the World Games too, and we're like, dude, it's going in the Olympics. It's totally going to be in the Olympics, And
Just not
anyway,
yet.
sorry everyone. It's not. It didn't make it. So
That's so funny.
yeah. So someday maybe, but not this cycle.
So I played tennis my whole life, right,
Yeah.
before pickleball. And if my coach really wanted to make training hard, he'd take me to the fucking beach.
Yeah.
Right? So what was it for you where like if you're basically doing all your training outside of weights, I'm guessing, but all your training on the beach, and how does that help, or how does it not help, like basically for you as an athlete?
Well, you get in great shape. So the sand does two things. One, it also like mitigates like crazy speed of like the young guys, so older players can play.
Yeah. Okay.
So that actually was a benefit to me, because if you look at like even beach volleyball, there's a lot of like older volleyball players that play for a long time. Like I think the Tokyo Olympics, they're all in their 40s except for Taylor Crabb, who was like a younger guy, but they were all older guys because it's softer on your joints, it's like easier on your knees and everything. But it takes a lot of endurance, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of strength. And so we used to get a lot of guys that would come out to check out the sport, and they just get like completely exhausted and worn out, and they can't jump anymore.
That would be me.
And then they never show up again too, because they were like a high level athlete at another sport,
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, I feel like I could dominate these guys at beach handball. In their mind, they're gonna come out and just, they did it at one sport, why not another sport?
Yeah.
And the truth is you can't. Like there's this learning curve, and you
This
have
is
to
so
stick with
pickleball
it.
like, by the way.
Yeah.
This is like literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a learning curve, and it's not to say that those guys couldn't be great at it, but you're gonna have to like go through that process again and stick with it. And they're like, you know what? I don't think it's for me or whatever. Or they just never see him again.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting, right? Because pickleball is the same thing where now with like the paddle technology and equipment and ball, like it is a little bit more like tennis than it used to be. But back in the day, like if you were 20 and a D1 college, tennis athlete, you might still suck no matter what at pickleball.
Yeah.
Where like now, based on the technology, is a little bit different. But the one question that I do have, right, like in pickleball, you can probably argue that most tennis players adapt pretty well to pickleball, and same thing with ping pong.
Yeah.
So what kind of athletes or what athletes from what sport translate the best to beach handball once they pick it up?
It kind of depends on the position.
Okay.
So one thing that helps is if you're really tall, like same thing with beach volleyball, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just helps with the height and jumping up there. It doesn't matter.
Better angles too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if I'm short. I'm 6'2", but that's kind of short for beach handball.
Yeah.
So I primarily would only play on the wings and kind of like this like center back, like a point guard position. And I would play pivot, but against smaller teams. And I realized at the world championship level, you're playing against guys that are like 6'7", plus like their wingspan and everything. That didn't matter how high I could jump, they're faster. Because they're just quicker. And so it depends. Like, so we get water polo players that are great at throwing. They're really good at like shooting and that sort of thing. But if you can jump super high, they're trying to recruit a lot of players that played other college sports now, because nobody like in the United States really grows up playing handball.
Yeah.
So, but they want to build out the national team program. So they're trying to get guys that, you know, maybe they played like baseball or basketball or football. Because if you play pivot, it's basically like this, you know, it's similar to indoor where you're kind of just like on the line in the front and you're like blocking them out. And if you can just jump and like beat everybody to the ball and then just throw it in a goal, you'll be great.
Yeah.
At the sport. And with, you know, you got to learn some of the timing and then when to switch sides and stuff like that. But they're trying to, usually we get a lot of water polo players. I always love it when they get soccer players just because I feel like, you know, there's something in common.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just athleticism and then being willing to learn a new sport, man. It's not as easy as people think it might be. And so you're going to have to like, you know, put a lot of work in.
Yeah, because like having played some handball growing up, even though it wasn't on the beach, which is to me just way harder, especially physically, like that would be the biggest misconception, right? That you can just kind of play any sport and come in and just dominate because you think you can throw a ball and stuff. Like
everyone thinks I'm going pro at pickleball, right? Because I played on the national team and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they've been knowing me for years, and they see me like traveling around with all these highlights, and they're like, oh, Charlie's definitely going pro. And I'm like, you guys obviously don't know anything about pickleball. It's just like,
I'll be the judge today because we're gonna go play right after
we'll
this. I'll be the judge.
I'm just happy to get out there. And I mean, like, I saw some the other day that like the paddle brand that's like sponsoring Terrell Owens. It's like, oh yeah, Terrell Owens is going pro. I'm like, huh, you know, I saw Terrell Owens, a video of Terrell Owens. I don't think he's going pro anytime soon.
Yeah.
Not to say he can't, but I'm just saying, you know, there's a learning curve to all of
There
this,
is,
you know.
yeah.
And you're starting something brand new, and it's like, and also, if you're older, like I'm, you know, I feel like I've proven myself and I accomplished a lot of my goals. Do I want to grind every single day? Like I see these guys at like Los Cav and the clubs, like these young guys that are like trying to go pro, because that's what it takes, right? You're gonna have to put the time.
You know
in.
what it takes more than those people now.
Yeah.
Because you've done it in a different sport where they're trying to do it.
Yeah, it's like you have to dedicate your life to it, and there's no guarantee it's even going to work out for you. You could dedicate your whole life to it, and you still may never really make it to the like that elite level. People even like beach handball, they're like, oh, how big is the roster? 10 people. But you know what I'm really competing for? One spot.
Yeah.
So that means I have to be better than everybody else at that one spot.
Yeah.
And they're all going to try to, and because I'm not that tall and because I'm right-handed, everybody wants that one spot. So it's like a lot. You just, it's not like you're trying to be number 10. You have to be number 1, and you have to be number 1 to you know, overcome like all the other, like, you know, whether this guy came up like as an indoor player or this guy just had a good tournament or something like that. You have to. Yeah. There's all this stuff like plays in your head. I think the psychological part. Yeah. Of just, you know, just doing your thing and like staying focused comes in.
It's definitely a lot like pickleball, and it sounds like you guys had a lot of like growing pains and all this stuff, kind of like how pickleball still even has, even though it's actually, you were saying it's bigger than beach handball. But you were saying that, you know, at 6'2", you're not quite tall enough for beach handball, right? And to me, I'm around 6'1", 6'2" myself, but to me, being 6'2" in pickleball kind of sucks.
Because you're in between or something, or too tall, or what?
So I think it's too tall for pickleball. Now, with a new lifetime ball, because it bounces higher, it's not us stuff. Yeah. But, you know, when you're playing with like a Franklin ball or something like that that's not quite bouncing, then you always have to just get super low.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of tough. And then your angles are different. And then on the other hand is if you are like slightly smaller, like you can just move quicker.
Yeah.
And pickleball is very quick, very fast.
Yeah.
People don't think it is, but it's more of a like, how can I get from A to B very fast?
Yeah.
Not how can I just get from A to B and hit it hard or whatever it is, right? It's like how can you cover the most amount of court with the little amount of movement and being just super fast twitch, right? So at like 6'2", 220, it's tougher to do that at 5'8", 170. You know, so when I think of like the perfect like body type for pickleball, I think of Gabe Tardy or Hayden Patrick-Quinn. I think Ben, as good as he is, being the GOAT, like it's a little too top heavy. So what are your thoughts on the perfect pro pickleball player and the perfect pro beach ball handball player?
So it also depends on the position, like I said. Like I'm actually a very good height for the wings.
Okay.
Because I feel like I still have a lot of athleticism and I can jump super high. For the wings, it's great. And then it could be a benefit to be smaller for the point guard position on handball because it's like you said, you got to be quick.
Yeah.
It's quick. And so with pickleball, I also feel like, and obviously I'm still new to it, but I feel like the singles game is very different than the doubles game.
Yeah.
Where I feel like in singles, there's so much lateral movement and you got to be so quick over the court. When you start getting bigger, you're putting a lot of stress on your ankles and your knees. And I've already started to have like some injuries. I feel like that I never had on the beach. And it's just because you're on this hard court. But I feel like there's an advantage to being tall with long arms. I was watching like some of you guys play and like Blaine.
Over here, yeah.
Yeah, and he's so tall and he's able to really hit like these hard shots out of the kitchen area.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's an advantage there. But personally, like I see like the smaller guys. I feel like I almost wish I was a little smaller for the singles game because it's I like singles more. But it's just so hard on your just like to the starting, stopping to go like side to side and then being quick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I feel like there's a advantages to being tall. Your wingspan's bigger, and my perfect size. I don't know. I think it's kind of like soccer. You just need to play to your strengths. There's the little guys. I feel like you're the mixed doubles partner you have on the MLP team.
Alex or
Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are. She's like relatively short, and you're relatively tall, but you guys seem to like gel well together.
Yeah, we complement each other pretty well.
Yeah, so it like works out really, really well. And so I feel like there's a and you guys have like awesome energy, and it seems like you guys like synergize. So I think that there's and maybe that's why pickleball so everyone loves it because it's like anybody can play it. They just got to figure out a way to make it work for your game.
No, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Can you think of any pro pickleball player that you would be confident to recruit to play pro beach handball and make it? Like if you have to put like your house on it, and you're like, I need to.
Well,
this is the guy.
The big thing is, one of the most important things is how well they can throw a ball, and I have no idea if this guy can throw a ball, but I feel like Christian Alshon is a great athlete.
That guy's athletic as fuck.
Yeah, but I was like, I have to see him throw a ball first, and then I could make a bet with you. And it won't take me any time at all. I could see him just throw a ball a little bit, and I could tell you if I believe in his ability.
So do you think there's any so he was a tennis player, right? And serving in tennis is not throwing a ball, but it's a motion. Yeah. So
it's not enough. I feel like because we had guys that were like pro volleyball players, and it almost can be a disadvantage if their mind is like so trained in like one type of way that's how their body like almost reacts without even thinking. And so it's almost like they have to like retrain their body to like do the 360 and the alley oop and stuff like that. If you're catching it down here versus up here, there's all these like it's a game of inches. And so like once you start getting to like this elite level, it all matters. Like just even the smallest thing. Yeah. Just your timing. But I feel like he's a great athlete, for example. But I wouldn't know until like he needs to throw.
He needs to throw a ball.
Yeah.
Right in front of you.
But I mean, if someone like that, I think could be super successful.
Yeah.
say Blaine. I like Blaine too. You know,
Yeah.
you played handball. You know,
Yeah, me and Blaine are close.
Yeah.
We're good friends.
you
Blaine's
guys.
the
I
man.
mean, if you grew up playing handball, the coach will already like you. And because you have like a Spanish accent, he's
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Oh, let's give him a chance. We'll put him on the team." And I'll be on the sideline.
yeah, it's about who
I'll be
you
like
know.
pissed
Yeah.
off. I'll be like, "Fuck,
Yeah.
here we go again."
That's so
This
funny.
guy
It's like, dude, fucking 20 years later, man.
Yeah.
What has in your pro beach ball career, what has been like the most memorable moment?
I think so. We had the World Games, and it goes in cycles, kind of like the Olympics, same as the Olympics. So the World Games is a precursor, a staging ground for sports to either go to the Olympics and sports that were in the Olympics to play in the World Games. And so we actually had it here in the United States, which was the first time in like a really long time.
Yeah.
And so I was on that team. It was in Birmingham, Alabama, and my twin brother, and he had his two kids. He had two young boys come out. And it was like the first time they had really gotten to see me play in a big international tournament live. So it meant a lot that they got to see me be out there with the USA team and competing against Brazil and Croatia and Argentina. So that was a special moment. They have like it's kind of like opening ceremonies and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of American flags, and so because we're in the United States, it's different.
Yeah.
Right? Because when the USA team comes out, everybody goes nuts. You
Right.
know? And they're like, USA, USA. And I'm like, damn, dude, this is,
You guys win?
we lost.
What round?
Semifinals in a
Shit,
shootout.
you got pretty close.
In a shootout they won both the World Games that year and the World Championship. So they were like double gold medalists, Croatia, but we were this close to beating them. And I thought it was our destiny. We were going to win this World Championship in the United States. And that I was gonna retire after that, and I was gonna be like, world champion.
Yeah, no, dude, that would have been sick though.
Yeah, storybook ending. But it didn't work out like that. We lost in the semifinals, and then we lost in the consolation match too. We ended up in fourth, which was, fourth in the world is still like pretty impressive, but it's not. You're not on the podium, So as amazing as it was, it's like I felt like I wanted more.
No, for sure, and that kind of, it's so interesting, right? Because everyone knows of the number one.
Yeah.
Nobody really thinks of the runner up ever.
Or even like, dude, just to get that close, but nobody ever is going to introduce you as like, oh yeah, he's like a former fourth in the world or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
former number 37 player in the world.
Yeah.
Welcome, Charlie.
Yeah, but it still was so that was a memorable one just because of the circumstances surrounding it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the other one that's the most memorable was definitely the first time I ever really made a big team was a qualifier tournament for the World Championships, and we went down to the Caribbean, and I was still kind of like a sub, on the bench, like waiting for my chance, and I came off the bench and I scored this big goal in the semifinals, put us in the championship.
Yeah.
But then I'm back on the bench again in the finals. And the guy starting above me misses a couple shots. He puts me in. We're losing to one of our biggest rivals, Mexico. And so if you grow up playing soccer here in Mexico and Euros, it's like the World Championships when you play each other, right? And I scored like every shot. I basically I led the team in scoring, and then at the end, if you're tied, you go to golden goal, both halves, which is just like a sudden death.
Yeah.
Sudden death. And they're covering these other guys, and because they don't know who I am, they're covering these other guys who are like, I used to call them the big three because they were like the superstars of the USA team. I was like, everybody in the world knew who these guys were. Nobody had any idea who I was at the time. And I came in and I scored this golden goal. Everybody goes fucking nuts, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, and then
That's
the
so
second
awesome.
half, I played amazing. And we won it's the Continental Championship. So it's like the best team out of North America and all the Caribbeans and Central America. And we win this gold medal. And I had come in like off the bench and and played well. And I just felt like on the plane ride home, I was like, dude, that was a dream come true.
Yeah.
It was a dream come true.
That sounds so sick.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so cool. I remember winning specifically 2 tournaments, but it was the World Pickleball Championships with Callan and then MLP with the Ranchers. And like both of them, like they will live here like forever.
Yeah.
Like just forever. So dude, that's super cool. That's super awesome. So who is leading, like what country is the best one in handball and beach handball? Like And I'm not even saying like the team itself, but just like the best training programs, the best coaches, the best players.
So it's changed. I feel like historically Brazil was always the best.
Okay.
They won more world championships than anyone else on both the men's and the women's side. But in the last few years, it's actually been Germany.
Oh wow.
So so for a long time, like Brazil was always kind of like the heavy favorite. But what the German team has done is they've started recruiting all their. They have this crazy youth program and professional development program for the indoor side, and even a couple of years ago, their women's team was going like undefeated for years,
Shit.
like two
Years.
years.
Is this
straight.
Annalie
Yeah.
Waters playing?
Yeah, and so they just had this like crazy talent pool, and now their men's team is also starting to win that too. And so we used to have teams like they had historically strong indoor programs like Denmark, who were always like maybe world champion or runner up or something like that, and Croatia also always had a really good team, and Qatar always just pumps money into their sports teams, and so they would just bring in all these, they would just pump money into it, hoping they would win.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah, and so but right now, if you had to ask me, I think that Germany looks like they have one of the strongest programs based on their development. Yeah,
No, that makes sense. Have you ever? Well, I guess like this is kind of like a two-thing question, but have you ever, when you stop playing pro, do you ever start coaching?
I helped out with some of the coaching stuff. They do these things called like they're like athletes. They're trying to find athletes, so they do these like clinic or camps and everything. I can't remember what they're called, but they're basically like USA camps where they're coaching players and they're teaching them, and they're trying to find like the next generation of guys to play the sport.
Yeah.
And so I've helped out at some of those, and just like teaching people the beach handball side, because sometimes they would want to introduce indoor guys too, just to check it out, see if they like it, see if they want to do it. It's tough though. I feel like in some ways when I stopped playing, my heart broke a little bit, and so it's almost hard to even be around the sport anymore.
Oh wow.
And even I went out to a big club tournament. I saw a bunch of like the national team guys, and I like love these guys. They were like almost like brothers to me. I see like this guy like Drew Donlin. He's like, they call him Captain America. He's this big guy. He plays indoor and beach, and I love seeing him. Every time I see him, I feel like we laugh and joke around and have a great time, and all the other guys too. And then I go home and I'm so sad.
Because you're missing out on.
Yeah, because I feel like for me that chapter of my life is over.
Yeah.
And I'll never get it back. And but I made the most of it, and it was amazing. But it's hard to even be around it because I feel like it's just tough.
I kind of get that, because at some point when pro pickleball goes away from me, I always kind of look back and be like, oh, maybe I could have done more, or like, oh, I'm never gonna get that again, or what am I gonna compete in, like things like that, So it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's just a new chapter, and I feel like the tighter I hold on to it too, it's like it doesn't leave room for other things, and I'm like, I'm enjoying this whole pickleball journey. I mean, I kind of just do it for fun, but I enjoy now being part of the community and like playing in tournaments. Just getting to do this with you is super cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I mean it. It's just like I'm enjoying it. You know, it's like a cool journey.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about pickleball, right? So you played very high level soccer, obviously extremely high level beach handball, and then now you come across this honestly like very, very different sport, because now instead of having a ball, you have a racket to hit or a paddle, right, to hit a ball with. So how do you get started playing pickleball?
So it was actually a handball guy that retired before me.
Okay.
He was a firefighter, and so like he would him and his guys at his station would play pickleball.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that. I've seen that
Andres, before. So Andres told me about it, and Andres was like trying to get me to. When I retired, we were talking about being international refs, so that you still part. But I was like, dude, I just want to play, and also I don't want to. You can't talk to athletes if you're a ref too. So
interesting.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And but he told me about pickleball, and we never even really played, but I did buy the paddles on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when I kind of retired, I had an ankle surgery, reconstructed a ligament on my ankle, and I kind of retired from beach handball, and I was looking to play pickleball. And do you know who Casey Patterson is? Okay, so Casey Patterson was posting about pickleball too, and he had retired from beach volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw some article about like this older lawyer that won at it was like the pickleball national championship. Maybe he was like, I can't remember what it was, but he was like a full-time lawyer and he won pickleball or something.
Mm-hmm.
But he was an older guy, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, so you could be like older and still kind of compete.
You're still looking to compete and try to get good at something.
So So I was like, yeah, I feel like I wanted to do something. And so it was this guy from my gym, Kenny. He was like one of the owners of Motion Fitness in Irvine, California, and I was living down there. I just moved down there, and he introduced me to pickleball, and it was fun.
Yeah,
I just had a lot of fun, and
the first time ever, you had fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Not everyone has fun the first time.
I mean, I probably wasn't any good, but I just enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah.
So, do you still think you could go pro in pickleball?
I feel like I don't want to ruin any sponsors out of it, but let's be honest. I've never aspired to like really go pro.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I know what it takes to be an elite athlete and to be a professional at something, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like they think that they're like, oh, you're good at something, you can go pro. I'm like, that's not, dude. You have to be exceptional at something, and I feel like that's where there's like a misnomer. And I remember when I was looking at pickleball, I saw all these people that I was like, dude, is everybody a pro at pickleball? Because on Instagram, everyone writes like pro pickleball. And I'm like, and so I'm like looking around, I'm like, who's really a pro and who isn't? And I was like, and I feel like there's levels to it too. Like, anyway, to answer your question, no.
You never know.
I mean, the thing is like, but I do want to like improve and like have fun and see where it takes me, and I wouldn't mind. And I love, when we went to this, like I went to this Tyson McGuffin thing, and like getting on the court with some of the players over at Los Cab, the professional players.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to play at the highest level that I can, but I'm not going to quit my job and train every day
for sure,
and pay a bunch of like coaches and try to all the injuries that come with being an athlete. I'm not going to go do everything that I did for this other sport where I just know for me what it would take. And also, let's be honest, dude, I knew when I started playing beach handball and even soccer, in my heart, I could be great at it.
Yeah.
When I started playing pickleball, I don't have that same feeling. I know I could get good at it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be like,
it's different. It takes a different type of skills. Yeah.
I just know where I'm at,
Yeah.
And I like it. So I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah. You just keep enjoying it, try to keep getting better, play with some better people, see where it takes you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny you were saying that about, who even is a pro, right? Because we've always had that kind of like, maybe like stigma, whatever it is, like, oh, everyone's a pro at pickleball.
Yeah.
Like, how is everybody a pro, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing that's confusing, right? Like if you call somebody a pickleball pro, you probably think he's just a teaching pro.
Yeah.
Right? But the issue is everyone thinks they're an actual professional.
Well, I mean, what does it really mean? Because I was like, dude, I've won Moneyball. Does that make me a pro pickleball player because I won some cash? I was like, that in my mind, it doesn't, right?
Right. I usually don't think there's a clear answer.
There isn't.
Right? Because you could say, well, I make money with it, so I'm a pro.
Yeah.
Or you could say, well, I play in the PPA, so I'm a pro. But it's like, but then you're like, do you make any money? No. Well, so it's like, which one is it? Do you have to play on the PPA MLP and make money? Do you have to make a living out? Like, what is it?
Well, I feel like this is also just an outsider, and I don't want to offend anybody out there. But I mean, for me, I feel like if you're playing in MLP and if you're playing in PPA, you're a pro.
Okay.
You're a pro. Like you're in a professional organization here, and you're playing it. You've been signed to a professional organization. I feel like even if you're, let's say you have another job, or maybe it's not paying any bills right now, but it's you obviously have a skill at the sport. You're signed to a professional organization. You're traveling around playing in high level tournaments. I feel like you're a pro player. I feel like for me, it's like but if you're like you're just entering the open division, but you've never actually made it into the main draw. Are you really a pro, or are you an aspiring pro? I don't know. I didn't
I don't know either. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Though. What if you're signed,
Yeah.
but you are not in an MLP team,
Yeah.
and per your contract, you don't have to play qualifiers, but you have never, ever, ever won a first round match either?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, this whole world I feel like is kind of getting to this place too, where it's like you don't even have to be good at something, but you can make money doing it on social media. Like if you're good at taking photos and videos, like you could be a terrible tournament player, but a very highly paid endorsement athlete, right?
Yeah.
Like you're an athlete, but you're not. It's not based off your skill. It's based off of kind of like your reach.
Yeah, different skill.
Yeah, it's a different skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's definitely like, I mean, that's a tough one. But I mean, like, I was like, how do you even still, if you can't win, at some point they're going to drop you, right?
If you can't win them, well, but that's the thing, right? Like if you don't get paid, and then you have to do well to get paid, but you're a signed player.
I thought you guys all got paid once you got signed, so I didn't.
So, yes and no. So basically, I mean, everyone has a different story and a different contract and all this stuff, right? But when I got signed back in I signed PPMLP back in 2022 or something, right? Like, I was making a lot of money winning matches and winning tournaments and whatever, right? So then they said, hey, we'll give you a guarantee, come play for us.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, sounds good. So that was a good check. Then the Tour Wars happened, and then that check or that contract got inflated even more.
Because you're a name at that point. You're a big name in this sport.
Well, I've fallen off the map a little bit. Obviously, I have other stuff going on in life, like kids and shit like that. You know, I'm still trying hard and training and doing all the right things, but you know, maybe I'll get better in 2 years. I don't really know, right? Like life takes you where it takes you. But I'm one of the few players that has basically won like a major, like a world championships. I won MLP. I won APP, men's and mixed. I didn't play singles at the time, so I don't know what I could have done. I'm bronze and silver medalist in PPA. I've been Ben twice when he was unbeatable. So my resume is pretty good, right? Most people can't say that.
Yeah.
You know, most people haven't won an APP.
Yeah.
You know, and that now it's like the feeder toward what they call it.
Right.
I don't believe that, but that's what they call it. I think APP is great.
Yeah.
So like my resume is there. Fuck, where was I going with this?
We were talking about the difference between a professional and someone who's either they're signed, but there's levels even within people that are being signed versus.
We're talking about Tour Wars though, and the money, right?
Yeah.
But then like as of late, I'm still under a contract where I got money originally from a couple of years ago, but the people that are signing the new contract, some of them might be 20K, some of them might be like maybe even, I would even argue that some of them are not getting any money at all.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, if you're signing something for no money just to play, are you really a pro?
Well, I mean, here's another thing too. Now, like if you're asking me if I have aspirations to be a pro, I have a great corporate job and they pay me so well. I was like, dude, there's no way I could ever replicate that.
Right.
That's
tough.
But just to say I'm a pro, I was like, it would be doing it for the love of the game almost. And I'm older now. I feel like if I was a young guy coming out of college or something, like maybe that's all I need. But at this stage of my life, I feel like I have a very like comfortable lifestyle, and I was like, there's no way I would give that up to like.
Yeah, and when you're younger and you kind of have nothing else to do, it does make a lot of sense. Oh, these guys are gonna give me like 20K to travel around, and then just like I can eat.
Follow your dreams, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I can eat instant ramen for like $1, and then just try to like make $5,000 in the year. Like that's great. Like I kind of did a little bit of that. I worked first just to have money, and then I did the pro stuff second. But yeah, do follow your dreams, do whatever you need to do, get it done. But yeah, if you're at a different stage in your life, you're making X amount of money and you're chilling and you play video games, you have fun. It's a good job. Like kind of like we were talking about earlier. Like, fuck, if I could play pro pickleball and retire, and then now people are gonna watch me play games on Twitch, I would 100,000% do it.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know for how long, but I would.
Yeah.
So follow me on Twitch.
Twitch streamer. Yeah.
No, but that would be sick. So let's talk about a little bit sponsorships, right? Because I know you're with Lunar.
Yeah.
How does?
Yeah, Lunar Pickleball.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Yeah, shout out to Lunar Pickleball. Really appreciate them. It came from Matt Nola, who's one of the founders of Lunar Pickleball. Reached out to me about, and I had been kind of like looking around, thinking about sponsorship. I just saw that there were all these companies kind of like entering the market, and it just seemed like the Wild West. And I could see other people who were getting sponsorships. But I was like, well, what's the difference between this guy and this person? And I was like, well, maybe I'm new to pickleball, but I did compete for the USA team for a long time, and I take my shirt off and jump around, videos for pickleball content and stuff. And I was like, but anyway, he reached out to me, and I knew someone else that was signing with them was this guy Marcel Chan, who he had coached me.
I know Marcel.
Yeah. So Marcel, I love Marcel.
Pickleball boyfriend.
Yeah.
Your
pickleball boyfriend on Instagram.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And Marcel was awesome, and I loved taking lessons with him, and he was like teaching me how to play singles. And so Matt reached out to me, and I'd been kind of shopping around looking for deals, unbeknownst to them. But at my level, they were almost like asking me to like pay in to like be an ambassador to some of these paddle companies. And for me, it was so foreign. I was like, wait a minute, you want me to pay you to use your paddle, and then it's like this kind of thing. I was like, it blew my mind that was even like a thing. And but anyway, Lunar kind of approached me, and Marcel was like about to sign with him too, and we were gonna do it together. And it just I didn't really know much about the company. It's an Asian company, and they're breaking in here, and their paddles are great, but I didn't even know that at the time. I kind of just did it because I wanted to be part of like a smaller company. I felt like if you're part of like some of the bigger companies, they would never give a guy like me the time of day, because I'm not on the MLP and the APP, and I probably never will, But I like pickleball.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's really funny you say that too, because which part was I gonna say about the sponsorship stuff, right? Because paddle companies have realized that paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to random pickleball athletes, it's not really, there's not really an ROI for that, right? Return of investment sort of thing. And so those numbers have gone down quite a bit, and they're just not doing it as often. Now instead of having 6 players, they might have 1 or something. On the other hand, the brand ambassador things that you're talking about is kind of weird, because some companies kind of do it right. Like, hey, we'll give you free product if you want to make some videos and you want to get like 15-20% commission or whatever. Like, okay, fine, right? Like that's fine. You have to lose anything. But I've had all kind of experiences with all kinds of people and companies and everything through pickleball. And like, I had the great ones where they just want to throw money at me.
Right.
And then I had the ones where like, yeah, we want to make you a brand ambassador. You can buy product for like 20% off. Yeah. And I'm like, so you want me to fucking buy the thing?
I don't want to sound like I have a big ego or anything. Yeah. But I was like, first of all, I'm not a salesman. Yeah. I never want to be. I don't want to like try to sell stuff. But if you want to partner with me and like we can, I'm happy to like work with companies that I believe in, and that I was going to use myself. A lot of these like whether it's like clothing or supplements or paddles or I'm here for it. But it does make a difference with the pros they sign, because I remember seeing like you with like Hestacor on the flyer and stuff like that, and like Fook, who was with Marcel back in the day. Yeah. It was like you and Fook, and I'm like, oh well, if you're using it and Fook's using it, then it's good enough for me. And it's the same thing. So it does make a difference. And I remember like Tyson McGuffin and stuff like that. I didn't know much about pickleball, but because when I started researching it, I see him because he does a lot of social media stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm like looking for his paddle, because I'm like, I don't know much about pickleball, but if it's good enough for that guy, then it's good enough for me and stuff. Yeah,
for sure. And I think I think most people will take about anything. Yeah. Like, which is kind of weird, because I'm not gonna say any names or whatever, so it's not a big deal. But like, if I'm using something, I know the money is not so insanely good that I can't say no to. Yeah. But if they're gonna pay me like $1,000 a month, it's like, yeah, I'll do something that I actually like, right? It would take a lot of money for me to say yes to something that I don't actually like.
I don't know if I even could, because I feel like my
no, if I gave you 10 million, you'd be like
10 million. I don't know.
Everyone has a number. I don't know. It just depends on what that is for you.
I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, we're playing imaginary game here, but I feel like within reason, I don't think there is, because I feel like I just wouldn't want to do it.
Well, we can talk. I know what you're talking about, and we can talk this off camera. Because we're going. I think we're going to like two different like extremes. But I guess like if I was thinking of like a pickable product, just a sort of thing. Like everyone has a number,
Of course.
right? But I will not take if I don't like the product and you want to pay me $1,000 a month. I probably would just say no.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to lie to people.
Well,
I don't think it's a good product.
Yeah, because I used to do a lot of workout stuff, and there's been a lot of like supplement brands that I was like, listen, Caged, yeah.
Caged is good. Caged is good.
Caged
is good.
Caged is one of my one of my partners, but there's a lot of supplement companies that I don't believe in. I don't believe in their products, and I feel like I just I'm not even like I don't feel like I'm necessarily like an influencer or anything, but just like I can't ethically, or I just wouldn't. I just don't want to work with it or do it for whatever money there. It's not even a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you know what? It's just not worth it. Even if you did give me a lot of money, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's just I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
So, but I do like Cage. So
big shout out to Cage. He actually brought me this just to try. So this guy's awesome.
I like it for pickleball. And everyone at Los Cab thinks it's funny because I actually dry scoop that in my mouth and I don't use any water.
Can you guys imagine taking organic pre-workout sport right before pickleball?
Yeah. I take it in the middle of matches too. If I feel like I'm not focused, I'll be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a little bit of pre-workout.
Does it have L-theanine in it? L-theanine is amazing.
Whatever it's got in there, I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I specifically like the sport version. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, our time is running up. We're getting close to an hour, but I do have one more question. And that is, if a kid came up to you and, to answer question, but he was like, hey, like I want to play beach handball. And then on the other side, hey, another kid is like, hey, I want to play pickleball.
Yeah.
What's the first piece of advice you give to both of them?
I think the big thing is, finding, let me think about that for a second. So, I mean, first of all, I love kids getting involved in sports. I think that it's super important for their development, like being part of a team and being part of a sport and like the discipline and the training involved and the focus. So it doesn't even matter to me what the sport is. I feel like it's great, especially if they have a passion for it. So if they're looking to pursue it, I just hope that they can find facilities and coaches and other players that they can play with regularly. I think it's a great thing. Pickleball, they're playing it all over the United States. Like beach handball is a little harder because it's obviously here in LA, but there's a lot of opportunity. So if they were super serious about beach handball, it's almost like you're better off like you're gonna have to start going to like Europe and South America and stuff like that. So it's tough.
Yeah.
But pickleball, it's about learning. Hopefully, like with any sport, you want to learn the fundamentals so that you're reinforcing all the right stuff early on, and so then you don't have to like backtrack and do it over again. So I think it's great. I think have fun with it. See how much you like it, and just go after it. I feel like one of the things that made me successful in like a lot of different parts of my life was like going all in on things, like not just taking a half measure, but deciding like, you know what, this is something I like and I appreciate, and I'm going to take it seriously. Like I'm going to actually really put my best effort forward, and then you'll see the results, and you'll ultimately look back and appreciate that time you put in.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And the one thing I love the most about what you just said that really resonates with me is the part when you said it was I don't want to I want to rephrase it the right way, but essentially saying like do all the fundamentals well so you don't have to go back and fix them.
Yeah.
And that to me, like pickleball speaking, is so big because I do some teaching, and everybody that comes to me, I'm just like, what the, like how, like why are we doing this? And everyone's kind of like, yeah, like everyone taught me this or whatever, and I'm like, holy shit, like we got so much work to do.
Yeah.
And then you just keep, and then you give those step backwards when, if you're not trying to go pro in something, it's okay because you're just going to get better and it's not a big deal. But if you're trying to go pro in something and you started with all the fundamentally wrong stuff, then it just makes it very, very difficult. So like I was really lucky, like in tennis, for example, where my coaches were awesome. And then like from a young age, at 4, I started at 4, like my swing kind of needed to be like perfect at all times. And then growing up, like it was just good, right? There was never like, oh, your elbow needs to do this or whatever. And like I was just okay. So yeah, huge shout out to that. So
it makes a huge difference,
Yeah.
especially when you start getting like the incremental differences between players
Yeah.
and you're just trying to win the small things. It makes a big difference. It made a big difference. I did those coaching lessons with Marcel Chan, and I've learned more in just like a one lesson than I'd been playing for like 5 months. I learned more in a 1 hour session than I did because I didn't know any better. I didn't know some of the technique and the drills. And I remember going home to my wife and she was like, "How was it?" And I was like, "It was amazing.
Best
I want
thing
to
ever."
I want to do it again."
Yeah. And then he left.
And then he left. And then he moved to Vietnam, dude. And now
Yeah.
so.
Well,
yeah.
big shout out to your pickable boyfriend. Thanks for coming, bro.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate
Big thanks to Cage. Thank you, brother. Huge shout out to APL. Get some paddles. You dripping like always. Thank you, John. And have a good one, guys. Thanks.